Welcome to Meliora's channel, your go-to place for C# and data analysis tutorials, products hands-on demos, and insider secrets to keep you at the cutting edge of innovation. Our goal is to break down complex tech topics to a level that you will easily understand to supercharge your skills. Without further ado, let's jump right in.
Hello everyone, welcome to this Python for Data Science tutorial. In this video, we'll be covering some of the most basic fundamentals of Python, which includes variable assignment, taking user inputs, converting data types, performing basic math operations, and making decisions using conditional statements. By the end of this tutorial, you will not only understand the fundamental concepts, but you will also be able to write an interactive Python application. So let's get started. In Python, variables are used to store data, and you don't need to specify the type of data you want to store because Python is a dynamically written language. Well, let's look at some examples. Let me say I write name to be Adam. It takes this name and figures out the type of the name and assigns that type to name and stores it. So if I'm to print out name, it should display name. It should display the name stored here. And the name stored is Adam. So if I display it, it will display Adam. So Python just takes the variable assign and then figures out what type is it, then it now stores it in the variable. So if I'm to type another thing, age is equals to, and decide to display it, it will display it as 25 because of the way it stores it. And then height 5, 6. It displays height. And how would you know these variable types? Python has a built-in function called types, which can be used to identify the type of these variables. For example, name is type string. But to know the type, you use the type built-in function and it displays to you the type, which is type string. And then for age is type int. And to know the type, it displays to you type int as an integer. Then height is type float. And to know the type, it displays to you as type float. There's another type that we have not yet talked about. That is Boolean. Boolean is of two values, true or false. Where false falls under 0 and then true falls under 1. And they are a type in Python. Let me assign to is raining to be true. If I'm to print is raining, you find out that its value is true. And if you want to know the type, you find out that is bool, which is Boolean. And if I decide to change this to false and print it, the value changes to false, but the type still remains. Since Python is dynamically typed, all these assignments are done dynamically. So you all just have to assign it. Python takes what you have assigned and try to figure out what type is it. Then creates a space in memory with reference to that type and stores it. So all these types we are just identified are the 4 primary types in Python. So let's talk about input output. A program cannot be complete if you cannot make an input into the program. And sometimes, and Python has a special function called input, which you can use to input something into the program. Let's say we want to capture the name of a user. You're using an application. Let's say we want to capture the name of a user using an application. We use the input built-in function and ask the user, what is your name? The user will definitely have to put his name inside or put a name inside, and then we can print out the user's name using the print function. Oh, I wrote user. Let me change this to name. Now, what's your name? Can be like, my name is Frank. Then, hello Frank, as the input that's already put there. So by default, this input function returns a string. So anything you put into the input function is going to return to you a string. But sometimes we might not need a string from the user. We might need like an integer or a float. This is what we're coming to type conversion. We can convert a string to a float or an integer. And we can convert a float to a string. We can also convert a float to an integer. We can also convert a string to an integer. It all goes three ways, but there's one exception. You cannot convert anything that's not a number to either a float or a string. It has to be, the string itself has to contain only numbers, only valid numbers. Let's take, for instance, we want to retrieve the age of a user. Like, how old are you? Oh, you have helped me. We want to retrieve the age of the user. And then we put in something like this, and the user decides to, and the person decides to put in a string. Now let's do something. Let's assume we want to retrieve the age of the user, and we want to find out whether, let's assume we want to retrieve the age of the user, and we want to multiply the user's age by 2. And let's make up a function, and then we'll be like the user, I want to multiply the user's age by 2. This will not work because the input returns a string. And because the input returns a string, it's going to do something called string multiplication, whereby the string is multiplied into 2 to make the string 2. It's going to make the string 2. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for an actual number. Let's run the application for you to see. If we put 23, 34. Okay, let's make a display so I can see it. Print age. String concatenation, string multiplication, I meant to say string multiplication. So it returns to you the string multiplied by the number of times you want it to multiply by, which is not what we're looking for. We're looking for a value, a number. And in this case, 34 times 2 is going to be 68. So what we do is we cover it with a built-in function called int, which converts that string to an integer. So let's run it again. Add 34, actually 68, which is
Hi there.
one way
I'm
of
Cortana,
doing
and I'm here to help.
converting. We can also convert this string to a float using the built-in float function. Although it will not be different, but let's add a float as an input. 24, 34.5, 6. And you can see the outcome is 69.12. I want to remind you about a statement I made earlier. Python is not a statically typed language. It is dynamic. So whatever type you put in to the variable, it figures it out himself when the application is running. Now, every number of float can be changed to a string, no matter the number, no matter the float, as far as they are valid numbers. Example, let's call this a string int 25. See, it is a string. Okay, coming back to the first one, we can see we have not yet tested it when you put in a non-number. It's going to definitely throw an error. So let us say sleeping as the number, as the value here. You find that since it's going to convert it to float, it's going to throw an error because this is not a valid float. You can see it's throwing the error that the input is not a valid float. So it cannot convert string to float. It has to be digits before it can be able to convert. So let me change this. Okay. So our next course of topic will be basic mathematics calculations, operations. So Python can handle basic math and complex mathematic operations easily. It's because of that ease. That's why it is also best used for data science. Now let's take a variable a, b. Let's take a variable a to be 10 and b to be 5. For us to do an addition calculation, we just have to use the plus sign from the keyboard. So we say a plus b, the output will be 15, which is pretty easy. Then we say a minus b, the output will be 5, and this for subtraction. And then for multiplication, we use the asterisk sign. So a times b, which is 50, which is what we expect because 10 times 5 is 50. Then for the division sign, we use the /. So we say a divided by b. And the answer will definitely be 2. Then for the modulus, which is remainder, is the numerator. Is the for a mixed function is the numerator in the mixed function. So it's the remainder. The remainder after a certain division has been have occurred. So let's say a over b. The answer is going to be 0 because, a percentage b. The answer will be 0 because 10 by 5 doesn't have any remainder. Now let's do it the other way around. B percentage a. The answer here will be 5. So that covers the basic calculations in Python. Now we head up to the conditionals. Python has There are some scenarios in code that will insist that will make decisions, and Python makes those decisions using 3 keywords: the if, elifs, and else. They basically allow us to make decisions. It's a method of putting a condition whereby if this successfully passes the condition, then this set of code will go about. Let's go back to age. Let's go back to age and retrieve age from the user. We can see that we can now put the conditionals if, elif, and else, and determine whether the user is still a child, is still a teenager, or is an adult. So if we use if age greater than or equals to 18, can print out you are an adult. Elif age greater than 12, print out you are a teenager. Else you are a child. These conditionals help us make decisions. Now, Python will execute the first conditional if the age is greater than 18. But if it is less than 18, to go to the next conditional. If the age is now greater than 12, it's going to execute the second conditional. But if none of the two conditionals satisfies it executes the third conditional. Let's take a scenario and impute a number. Let's take a number 34. 34 is an adult, which is as expected since it's greater than 18. Let's run it again and see what the next number will give. Let's say 12. Let's say 15. You're a teenager, which is correct because the number falls within 12 and 18. Then if we run it again with 6 or 3, you're a child, which is what we expected. So that is for conditionals. Now I have a challenge for you. You can put it in the comment section when you finish writing the program. I would love to see what you have done. So write a program that asks the user for a test score and print whether they passed or failed. If the score is 50 or more, print pass. Otherwise, print fail. Do try your best to make this application. Now that you have basic fundamentals, you can start building your own interactive application. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to like the video and subscribe. And happy coding. I'll see you in the next tutorial.
Thank you for watching, and if you learned something new or enjoyed this video, be sure to show us support by clicking like and subscribe. Your support helps us to bring you even better content. So stay tuned for the next exciting video. You can also click the link below to see other free and paid videos on other exciting topics. If the click did not work, kindly copy the link and paste on your browser. Thank you and see you in the next video.